Welcome to another episode of Coding Conversations. This is Kevin.
This is TC.
Hey man, how's it been going?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's raining out here, so that's kind of a bummer. But overall, I can't complain.
Okay. Yeah, I heard it's flooding like crazy out there.
In northern and up near like San Diego and San Francisco, it's like they have flood warnings, and that's uh, a little worrying. That would be worrying for me at least. I don't know. I don't live out there.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Y'all need the rain though. Like
Wow,
yeah.
everybody keeps saying that. A lot of people like on the radio, they joke about it. They're like, "We need the rain. We need the rain." I'm like, yeah, I guess so.
'Cause I know a lot of them rivers out there is drying up. So,
They are super dry. I
so
just I don't know how long the rain's gonna be going for. You know,
yeah.
I I
So,
feel like it's gonna be a while.
yeah. I mean, it's a good side and bad side to almost everything. So,
You're right. Yeah, all this week it's nothing but rain.
yeah, that's crazy, man. How's your job been going?
It's going good. It's going good. Like, I think I'm kind of getting used to the whole uh, leadership position. Like we were discussing earlier, like a lot of people are coming to me for questions and advice on problems, and we just troubleshoot it. We troubleshoot whatever problems that they might be having. Like today, I ran into a weird issue, or somebody came to me with a weird issue, um, where like React, we use React Query to like handle state and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and or handle query state, I should say, and for whatever reason, like a mutation was acting differently versus a query, and it was making some tests fail. And we still hadn't figured it out because it was nearing the end of the day, but it was really interesting. Like I'm not sure why Jest doesn't like the difference between a mutation and a query, but for whatever reason, it doesn't like it. So that'll be an interesting problem to solve.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
What about
man.
you?
See, it's cool working with a team and being able to help people out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think like if I was to just delegate tasks and sit on my hands and just sort of wait for things to happen, the job would be probably like really boring.
Yeah.
I'd probably get bored really quickly.
Yeah, and then your team morale will kind of suffer too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But I can't see the team morale actually suffering. Um, where for the most part, I've only been here like I'd say 5 months now, 4 or 5 months, um, and I feel like my team personally we're autonomous, but we know how to lean on each other, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Um, Especially as a lead, I think it's better to know when to lean on somebody instead of trying to solve it yourself. Um, yeah, I try not to like remember everything or try to learn everything. Like I try to sort of silo knowledge or know who to go to when it comes to certain problems,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, you gotta kind of realize who knows what, and then that's
Yeah,
how you able to stop wasting time and get to them.
yeah, exactly, exactly. How you doing in your job?
Man, is I like it, man. Like it's laid back, but my project isn't really because I'm doing a rewrite of the whole application. Uh, they let the old team go
Hmm.
and they it's a completely new team now, so I inherited that application, but they wrote it in a way that we need to integrate like a new data schema in there, and I'm pretty much was left to rewrite the whole thing. So it's interesting, man, but I'm kind of nearing the end, so that's a relief. yeah, man.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting project, but you know, when you pretty much like the sole, there's guys adding features, but the rewrite of the application that's on my shoulders. You know what I mean? So
Really, all you.
yeah, I mean I'm used to it. Like at my previous job, I was entire front end on that application until they brought in another guy like towards the
Yeah,
end of the project. So I'm pretty used to like, they just dump me on the application and I have to do it by myself. But yeah, I do have a team here, but they're doing other features. I'm focused on the rewriting. They're adding features to like the older version of the app.
mm.
But yeah, man. Yeah, it's just something that's been keeping me busy, man. But yeah,
What are your hours like?
it's a typical hours, but sometimes
Yeah,
like I'll come on like late at night and be like, yeah, let me get some work done and
really.
start cranking away at that. Yeah, it's
Uh,
just pretty much like one of those jobs. My manager, he doesn't bother me. It's like
yeah.
just get it done.
Mm.
And that's just one of those jobs where you shouldn't abuse your trust because you a lot of them other jobs are like, oh yeah, where are you at? Where are we with this?
Yeah,
Like I really don't like micromanagement.
yeah. I don't think anybody does. Like,
Mm-mm.
I didn't like it at McDonald's or Office Depot. Um, yeah, and I don't think anybody else would either. Like
Yeah,
any
that's what I'm
any
saying. It
tech.
seems like those little menial jobs, man. They're all over you, like watching you, like treating
Yeah,
you like you're incompetent.
yeah.
Man, I
Yeah,
don't ever want to go back.
I don't think anybody wants to either. I mean, but some people they have to, right? They have to take those type of jobs because
Yeah.
that's all they can afford.
And sometimes it feels like those jobs you work harder than these jobs here, but you get paid way. Intellectual work is more difficult, but though McDonald's, that's probably was the hardest job I worked because I was working the grill at one of the
Yeah,
biggest McDonald's in the nation.
I think it depends, right? Like physical work in a at like a fast food restaurant, right? You're always on your feet. You're always
Yeah,
it's always like go, especially during like the lunchtime rush or dinner rush, right? Like there's those days, but then when it comes to like a software job, there can be those moments where things sort of
yeah,
are chill, you know. But then once push comes to shove, you have to perform, right? Like for
yeah,
example, all this week I have like 5 a.m. meetings, and it's a lot of it has to do with like planning and coming up with a game plan for the next couple of months, and I can't just miss those. Like
yeah.
it's like hours of meetings back to back to back. Um,
That's the
so
thing
yeah,
about leadership is those meetings, man. Like just
they get
nonstop.
you. They get you. Yeah,
And it's kind of like, well, I don't know if I ever want to go in like management. I kind of like the technical side of things. Like I don't want to just be sitting like 5 hours in meetings. Seems like
yeah,
torture to me.
yeah. I would say you gotta be you gotta like to talk and like to share the microphone as well, because like you could easily just talk and talk and talk, but there's sometimes 20, 30, 50 people in a meeting. I'm not saying they all have to talk, but let's say 7 or 10 of those people outside of yourself has to be able to talk to, and you have this short amount of time to get it all out there for everybody to speak. So uh thing that I've learned is like to try and
Dang, I think the stream kicked us
time
off.
myself.
We should be back on.
No,
Can you hear me?
we good? We good?
Yeah, yeah. The stream had just
Okay,
kicked us off, and now we're back.
sorry. Oh, we got a message.
Let me see.
Sitting in meetings for 5 hours is torture. Yeah, we get breaks. Let me say this: we do get breaks, and sometimes that it's more so listening than actually talking. So I'm not like speaking for 5 hours. Um, yeah, it can be a little much. It can be a little much, but it's uh, I'm trying to look at the bright side of it. Like the bright side is I feel like we're all in this like together, for lack of better words. It's not like I'm the only one at 5 a.m. trying to come up with game plan and sprint plannings and coming up with tickets. Everybody's sort of going through it, and it's only 5 a.m. for the West Coasters, right? On the East Coast, that's a normal 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Uh, wake up time. So if you're on the East Coast or a little closer to the East Coast, it might be a little easier.
I mean, the cool thing is, don't you get off at like 2 o'clock or something?
Yeah, yeah. Get off at
Uh,
2, and then the rest of my day is for me. But
yeah. So
yeah,
that's a blessing if you're on a regular sleep schedule.
yeah, yeah. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. I can say that for sure.
Yeah, not so much for me because I'm more of a like a night owl. I used to work at the hotel from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. in the morning for like 8 years or so. But I really like it because it's super quiet.
You haven't changed it. You haven't decided to like just change up your sleep pattern.
Yeah, I'm back on a somewhat normal sleep pattern. I usually go to sleep at like 1 or 2 in the morning. That's better than like 7.
That's normal. Okay, I guess I'm just not normal. Uh,
Nah, I don't know. I just like being up till late in the night for some reason.
yeah. I
What
mean,
time do you go to sleep at like 10 or so?
I'm a baby, man. Like, come 9 p.m., I'm done.
9
I'm out.
p.m.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
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 that's like
yeah.
what time I had to go to sleep in fourth grade.
Yeah. Yeah, people make fun of me, my family, man. They'd be like, Terrence, 8 o'clock, you feeling sleepy? It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep.
I know
I'd
I'm
be
not,
like,
but I'll be feeling like I miss out on something if I go to sleep too early. I don't know why it's like that for me.
I don't know, man. For me, like one thing that I've learned to enjoy is like waking up early. Like I like waking up not like super early, like 5:30, 6 at the latest, right? But like within that window, waking up and then uh no one's up essentially. The world is kind of like pretty much quiet unless you're an Amazon delivery driver or something like that. And just like making coffee and just like I don't know, journaling. I like it. That's my peace and quiet right there.
Mm. For some reason, I always hated the morning time. I don't know why. I don't even like breakfast food that much.
Really?
It's like sausage, eggs, and all of that. It's like so greasy and nasty. I don't know how people can eat that and feel good about the day.
Dang. Okay. Let me not feel good about eating then. All right.
Yeah, I usually got to wait till like I don't know. I feel better when I wait till lunch to eat.
I can't function if I don't eat in the morning. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be like a freaking gourmet meal, but it has to be something like some eggs, some toast, a cup of coffee. Like I have to eat something because if I go into a meeting or a stand up, my brain is just not going to function. It's just going to be like 10%.
Hmm. Yeah, that's weird because mine's just like food has no effect unless I'm super hungry.
Yeah, yeah. Like for me, it's the opposite where food has a major effect if I'm hungry, which the effect is all I care about is food. Like I don't care about code. I don't care about
Hmm.
like sleep. I just want food. Like, and I got it from my mom because she's the same way. Like if we don't eat for a certain period of time, like that stomach just everything just goes straight towards finding food, eating food. Doesn't matter what it is, just eating something.
Do, do
And
you do you find like your mind works better after you've eaten certain foods? Like,
Uh, maybe not certain foods, but definitely staying hydrated has helped me a lot. Like one resolution I'm going for this year is to like drink more water.
yeah,
So I shoot for like half a gallon of water. I know that's not enough, but like I gotta start somewhere, right? So I'm shooting for like half a gallon of water. Uh, and I find that I'm more alert, I guess you could say. Like I'm not like sluggish. I'm not tired. I feel more alert. feel better. Feel better when I'm drinking more water. Like, yeah, you got to go to the bathroom a lot, but I'm working from home, so it's not like I got to drive to the place to use the restroom.
Yeah. I think with me with mornings, like one of the reasons I hate it is like nothing's open. Everything opens at like 10:30. So like, oh yeah, you want to go to Costco 10:30, Best Buy 10:30. So you just kind of
Yeah,
waiting.
yeah,
Yeah.
that throws me off. That throws me off too. Yeah, there's definitely times where I'm like, oh, I'll go here, and it's like, oh, they're not open yet. It's like, what
Yeah.
time is it? Like, they're what are they doing? Sleeping? What do they mean they're
Where
not
do
open?
you eat at in the morning? IHOP or like, what's your go-to?
I usually cook in the morning. Like I save diners and those type of things for like special occasions. So
Okay.
like IHOP or Denny's or Norms. I don't know if you have that out there, but like
Mm.
those diner type places, I usually save it for like graduations or birthdays or um, like brunch on Sundays.
Aren't you and Sean supposed to link up sometime?
Yeah, he wanted to meet up because he's leaving California pretty soon.
Oh yeah.
So we're supposed to be meeting up. We haven't set a date yet, but that I think that's gonna be pretty cool.
How far are y'all from each?
I want to say I think he's in Irvine. Don't quote me on that, Sean. If you're watching this right now, um, I think that's maybe.
Either Irvine or San Jose, one of the two.
Let me see what location. It's about an hour.
No, that's
It's
not
about an
bad.
hour out, but I mean,
Especially if
it's
I'm in between somewhere,
yeah, we
like
can be
30
like
minutes a
halfway.
piece.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Huntington Beach, Costa Mesa. Yeah, I just hope that we pick a day that's not like pouring rain. That's always a bummer. Like
Oh
right now,
yeah.
it's not the best time to be driving right now. I would not be out there.
Yeah, yeah. If it's rainy, I don't really drive around here. You know, you get them tornadoes. So I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm just I'm trying to stay in the house. If I order something, good luck to my delivery driver. Like I'll tip you like really well. Like don't worry about it. But I try not to go out.
And it's crazy how much people will pay to have something delivered to them. They have like a $10 order and like the tip, like the payment for the Uber is like $10 with the tip and all that. It's like,
Yeah, they bumped up they've bumped up everything as far as like tips, like Amazon Fresh, like the grocery delivery service. They've bumped up their tips. I think everybody's hurting though. I think that's like the sign of the
mm,
inflation. All the groceries are going up, the tips are going up. Oh shoot. Tips are going up, everything else. So it it's crazy. It's crazy when
yeah,
you really look at it, how much people are spending on, groceries or just the basic necessities to live. It's like what happened? Like who flipped the switch and just changed everything to be more expensive?
yeah. I mean, these companies they gotta get their money, so they pass the
Yeah.
cost on to you. Which I mean, I can't blame them. That's the purpose of a company, but everybody's suffering because the inflation. So I don't know. I think like it's just hard for me to pay like a whole bunch of money to get something delivered. I'd rather just go out and get it, unless I'm just like super lazy that day. Like the only thing I have delivered to me is really like groceries. I don't really get like pizza delivered. I just go pick it up.
Yeah, I could see that. Like for pizza, because they charge so much to drop off a pizza, and then they want you to tip on top of it. It's pretty outrageous. Like, I mean, any delivery for food and stuff, unless you're ordering at like a fancy restaurant that you don't want to go to physically. I can't see like I can't see having McDonald's delivered or having Burger King or Checkers or like a place like that. Just because it's you could you could easily go out and get it unless you just don't have a car or have the means of doing it.
Yeah, that's crazy. People actually do get that delivered, and they just don't feel like going. I guess, and they almost pay more than the meal just to have it dropped off.
Just to have it dropped off. Exactly. Yeah, that's the big point. It's like you're paying twice as much to go and get your food.
I
It's too
wonder
much.
where people's getting all this money from. Like, I feel kind of like bad about spending like $20 for McDonald's or something. It's like I could have went to a restaurant and got some.
I don't know. No, people got it though somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, how is people buying all these expensive houses? I heard the average car payment is like over $700 now.
Speaking of
Yeah,
cars, did you hear about the I don't want to call it microtransactions, but um,
subscription.
so there's like I guess it's a subscription, but certain car manufacturers are charging people more, or they're going to start charging people more. Yeah, okay, yeah. The article says BMW doubles up on paid subscriptions in the USA, charging 105 a year for a remote engine start.
I
It's
think
like
Mercedes was charging for heated seats. Like they're charging you to access stuff already built into the car.
that's ridiculous. That's so crazy. Like,
Mm.
and I wonder if somebody's going to come up with a way to. Um, I wonder if somebody's going to come up with a way to like hack that, right? Because
Oh yeah,
it's the software is already there, right?
yeah.
Like, you get a Raspberry Pi, like you've got USB ports in the dashboards now. You get a Raspberry Pi, or you get an Arduino. Do some magic with Linux. I'm sure there's a possibility to figure something out. Next up, charge $5 of $5 a month for breaks. Imagine.
Man, yeah, people have already been able to hack these devices, so it is. And plus, my thing with electric vehicles is that I feel like they're pretty much pushing us on that platform, so we don't ever really own the vehicle. Like they can cut it off whenever they want to,
Yeah,
charge you for imagine uh, everything except just the ability to drive is some kind of subscription or something like.
radio subscription. Imagine that.
Yeah,
Sirius FM is a radio subscription, I think.
heated
Uh,
seats. That's a
Heated is a
subscription.
subscription.
Probably air conditioner is going to be next.
I don't think you can
You
do that. That's a little inhumane. And
know.
putting an air conditioner, that's no. They've already hacked there's electric license plates? No way.
Oh yeah, I mean, if it's electronic, they can hack it.
I never heard about electronic license plates.
Do you? For some reason, not showing the name. Who's that speaking right now?
Starts with an M, I
Let me
think.
see. For some reason, yeah, it's not showing on mine. It just says LinkedIn private.
Oh, the white license plates aren't actually those are no way. That's cool.
That's cool. Oh, hey, Eric. Yeah, a long time no see, man. We're gonna have to invite you back on soon. Oh yeah, yeah, most definitely. I definitely remember Eric.
I've always seen the white license plates and thought they were paper. I didn't know that they were electronic. That's crazy.
Oh, okay. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, they got them out in Cali.
Hmm.
Dang, that's gonna be crazy. People can hack your, or you can hack your license plate, change your license plate number, scramble your license plate.
I mean, people can end up, like getting you in trouble. Like they
Yep.
hack your stuff and the cops pull
Mhm.
you over.
Yep.
Like, what are you doing?
There's got to be fail safes. There's got to be that didn't take long. Gizmodo security researchers hack Reviver Digital. Yeah.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of geniuses out there, man. Like if there's something out there, they can break into it.
Great for red light cameras.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. That's the thing. Like The crazy thing about tech is that once it gets into everything, you're not going to just be like a front end developer or a back end developer. You're going to be a developer for Mercedes or a developer for Tesla or like a dev for BMW. Like all that tech that goes into those cars.
Yeah, like it's crazy, man. Tech is really beneficial, but it also is like increasing the level of monitoring. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure they're
Mm-hmm.
sending all the data in that car to the company somewhere. Like, oh, okay, he likes
Yeah, of
his
course.
temperature like 70 degrees. And you start
Mm-hmm.
getting, some kind of advertisement. If it's cold, you get advertisements for coats or some, some kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like oh, are you driving to so and so today? Like
hmm
here's the most common places you drive on Sunday.
I think that's what how the why the GPS stuff is free. Like they just get track auditions and sell it to marketers. I was like, he loves going to Wingstop, so
Yeah,
send him
yeah,
Wingstop coupons or something.
yeah. They've what is it? I've gotten advertisements for like products that I've bought in the past, like on Instagram and whatnot. Like I'm almost positive that like there's definitely I mean this is a no brainer. Like the phones that we use, like all the information that we give it, it's just they're just using it to target us, right? Like
hmm
the words that we say enough times, however the algorithm works, like listening to that, and then uh, the things that we type like enough times, it tries to guess and understand us enough to
Yeah.
where the phone will just be like, okay, he's gonna look for this today. He
hmm
commonly searches for this. If he types the letter R, then pop up Reddit. Like it just,
Yeah.
they just know.
These
I mean,
companies almost know us better than we know ourselves because they got all this historical data and they're able to analyze it.
there's a lot of tech
Um,
in cars now, similar to what we use in medical devices. A lot of data in real time analysis.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yep, a lot of real time data for sure.
I almost wonder like they can almost make a clone of people. You know what I mean? They have all your data. Now they can take
Yeah,
the AI and get your face and make the visual recreations and all of that. So it's you can literally be framed like digitally. Like
yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah. I
strange,
mean, you
but
could.
it's interesting.
Yeah, you could definitely like. I mean, as long as 3D, as long as 3D animation doesn't get to that uncanny valley, I think we'll be fine. Because once 3D animation and AI, once that meets, then I think we're gonna be in trouble.
I
Like, not
mean,
to be a
like
conspiracy theorist, but I just feel like tech and cars don't really mix. Electronic license plates don't mix, and 3D art and AI or art and AI in general shouldn't mix. Because if you give somebody's face, right, you get somebody's face and you can frame them for a lot of stuff. Like, oh, he was here, and how do we know it wasn't him? And have you ever seen that movie Face Off? Oh, Kevin's gone. Oh man, Kevin got disconnected. No.
there we go. Yeah, I think my internet disconnected.
No problem.
Face off
Yeah.
was a while ago.
So the reason he's mentioning Face Off is because I mentioned Face Off, the movie with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage.
hmm
Dating myself, but basically they switch faces. Like they do this medical procedure, right?
hmm
And they like basically take off one person's face, put it on the other person's face. Like they swap faces, and and I've never actually seen it. I only know the premise of the movie, but like I just imagine that if somebody could, if 3D animation and AI ever met and somebody wanted to really frame you, like they probably could. Like 3D animation, AI, and then deep fakes, or maybe just deep fakes alone. And like if they wanted to frame you for something, it'd be really difficult to prove that you weren't you weren't wherever that you're being accused of.
Yeah, let me show you something real quick. This was back in 2020. Uh, this isn't a real person. It's an AI generated.
It's not?
Yeah,
Wow.
like
It
man,
looks really real.
exactly. I think I wonder how it looks in motion, but like you literally can't tell. Like all of these is like AI generated people, I believe.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they look stunningly real at first glance. Not
Some of
exist.
them look like celebrities, though. Like if you go back,
They were born from the mind of a computer. Like there was this application where like it can mimic like a celebrity's voice.
yeah, yeah, I remember that one.
Let's see. No, clone your voice for free. No thanks. Yeah, AI, they can generate music, they can generate voices, they can like the AI generated music is actually pretty good.
Damn, that's crazy.
They can generate artwork. Let's see. Let's see.
Mid
So
Journey.
yeah, this is you remember those pictures I was showing you earlier
Yeah,
of the artwork? Yeah, it was generated using this AI.
really.
For some reason it's not going. Let me see. Oh, community showcase. So yeah, look at this.
That's amazing.
Like this is like really good stuff.
That's really cool. What is that? What's the website called? Mid Journey?
Midjourney.com.
Join the beta, sign in, go to gallery.
Like for some reason, I always thought it was gonna be like the creatives that were gonna be safe, but if the AI is making stuff like this, it's kind of hard to compete against this.
Yeah, I mean, wow, that one with the guy looking at his face, that's really cool.
Yeah, I wonder how AI is able to like create this kind of stuff.
I don't know, man. The more you teach it, the more it's gonna get better. That's
Like
all I know.
the one problem AI has is like usually with hands. That's how you can tell. If you
Yeah, they
see
give it
like,
like 6 fingers or whatever.
mhm,
Yeah, I think the guy with that
the
guy right
mug,
there. Yeah, with the mug, he's not holding the
mm,
mug.
right? Yeah, that's weird. Like, what
But then
does it
it's not
do?
hard to just draw over it. You know, like what's stopping somebody from just taking this as a base, drawing over the imperfections, and then
Hey, can you give me 1 second?
yeah. All right, man. Thanks for joining. Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, my bad. That was my uncle calling. Interestingly enough, he was asking me about Chat GPT.
my my girlfriend's uncle was asking me about that when I was out in Honduras. He was like, "Do you know anything about Chat GPT?" And I was like, "I've heard of it. I've never used it."
Man, yeah, that's the new wave, man. Uh, I think like a lot of people are just going to be more curators. Like instead of actually having to draw all of this stuff, they're gonna just use the AI to generate it and be like, okay, tweak it like this or tweak it like that.
Yeah,
I think the new programming language would be like more humans, like humans communicating with AI.
for sure. Yeah,
I've
I
actually
mean,
seen somebody use Chat GPT to make a video game in Unreal Engine.
you did?
Yeah, that's what I seen somebody make a post about it. I didn't look like too deeply
Wow,
into it. Let me see if I can find that.
that's crazy.
Yeah, this is crazy. I don't know how it's doing all of this stuff. It's using Unreal Engine blueprints to
Unreal Engine Blueprint.
uh,
What's that?
what blueprints.
What's the Unreal Engine Blueprint? Is that like the? I don't know what that is.
So you know how they got like with Unreal Engine, you can use like C sharp.
Right.
They are not C sharp, C plus plus.
Uh-huh.
Blueprints is more like the visual, like the visual link,
Oh.
so you don't have to really do like hardcore coding.
Oh, so it's not actually writing code. It's just using it's like a GUI.
Yeah, I guess more like the scripting kind of language type of thing. Hey,
Right.
Sean, thanks for coming on.
Hey man, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Oh man, yeah, we were just talking about the AI and some of the stuff, like all these pictures you see on the screen right now, all that's like AI generated artwork.
You know what's really crazy is I was just thinking about it. It's so amazing that we could get AI generated artwork, but if you look closely, it always seems to have like a somber feel or like an artificial, no pun intended, but just something that's just not quite right. There's just something that's always a little bit off with it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Like the hands is always like 6 fingers, 7 fingers.
Yeah.
Or
And
you,
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just telling Kevin that like is nothing stopping somebody from just using this as a base, right? Like the fingers having 6 fingers, right? An artist could easily like over that, like mark over that. If this thing can spit out like editable files and not just like the actual final result, it'll be dangerous. Like I don't think anybody will be able to tell the difference if it's made by hands or not. That is sick. That one to the left, that's
This one,
sick. Yeah.
it says the primordial darkness embodied a Greek god Erebus wearing ancient Greek clothing, galaxy with solar system. Bedroom melting into the ocean.
I was saying something a while back, a couple weeks ago, about like with the Chat GPT thing, and that probably
Mhm.
even applies kind of here as well. It's like if enough people produce content that's purely from artificial intelligence and not from them actually writing it, then you're like, at least as far as influencers and at least people that I follow, you're not actually connecting with the artist anymore. You're connecting with
Mhm.
a bot or
Yeah.
some kind of
Yeah.
algorithm.
Yeah.
I kind of
And
feel like corporations they're going to use it because they don't care as long as they can shovel something out that people
gets
entertain
clicks.
people for a little bit, but it's like
Yep.
removing the humanity.
Yep. It gets clicks. I can imagine like a AI generated social media influencer that just
Yep.
posts AI generated art or AI generated content, and then you slap ads on that, and then you teach the bot or whatever, like based on the interaction and the likes and dislikes and the type of comments that you get. It's crazy. It's crazy how, like, if you look too deep, like if somebody really wanted to create like an AI social media influencer, they could probably jump off.
Yeah, they did this. This is a AI rapper that was on I think like Instagram or something.
Yeah.
What do you think happens? So a lot of the training comes right now, at least. All of the training comes from human generated content.
Yeah.
What happens in the future if it's, as it continues to train from new content, it starts training on artificial generated content? You think it'll get smarter, or do you think it'll like stagnate?
Wow, that's a good question.
Kind of like some weird feedback loop is just training on itself.
It won't learn anything new. Yeah. Unless you build. The only way I could see it really working out is if you'd have to build. It's like if you give a character to a one artist, they draw, like, you draw Bugs Bunny one way, right? But then you give the Bugs Bunny to another artist, they draw it completely different. And then they both have their own different styles and stuff like that, right? They're never the same. But then if you only leave one AI bot to its own devices, it'll probably stagnate. I could see it stagnating. You would need like other AI to teach it, or like to be competition again, like to be some type of rival. Like Mac would have to come up with their own AI, Samsung would have to come up with their own AI, and they'd have to have their own proprietary files that only their AI can look at, if that makes sense.
I wonder if we would start getting meta tags, like in HTML, or like with photos, how you have that EXIF stuff. I wonder if we start getting tags that indicates that kind of info. That's actually pretty cool right there.
Yeah, this looks like kind of like a dream, like how the scene just melts into something else.
Like a twisted form of Alice in Wonderland or something.
Yeah. That's crazy. It reminds me of Fantasia.
This definitely reminds me of a dream. You know how, like, in a dream you're in one place and all of a sudden, like, you don't even realize you're somewhere else.
Yeah, that one wasn't quite right, just right there.
Yeah, but how do you teach it? Like, everything's good, but this one part right here, right? Like, because in art you have your source file, right? And you can edit. Oh, hey, I like everything but the part at 1 minute 25 seconds. Like, over in the corner just needs to be a little bit brighter. I don't know if you could teach AI to do that, right? Is it an all or nothing type of thing, or because I've only seen like all or nothing.
Well, I don't know if you would say at 1 minute and 25, but it might just be a detail that AI got wrong. Although I'm beginning to think this uncomforting aesthetic is intentional.
Yeah, it looks a little creepy.
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
Or it looks kind of like like an LSD trip or something, like.
Yeah. Like the personification of an LSD trip.
I guess it's the mind of the AI. Like, how is it producing this stuff?
And how much of it was coached by the human? Like, is this really the mind of an AI, or is this just the mind of an artist that had AI at his or her disposal?
Right.
And it's just stitched together somehow. I can see that too.
I'd be interested to know how they came about doing this.
Yeah.
He says in this video,
I was watching a video about graphic like for games and stuff. I was watching a video last week about the trends of how graphics are going to change in the future.
Mhm.
And if you're building games like in Unity or something like that, you could draw your own objects, or you can get objects that are like algorithmically generated, like a tree or something, but they're
Yeah.
relatively static. It's a tree.
Yeah.
But they have stuff now that's an AI object. And so somehow through whatever this AI objectness is, it's not a hand-drawn object, it's not a algorithm generated object like a tree, but it's an actual AI. So you can shift its parameters, and then as it behaves in the game, it's a real AI. And so they're showing examples of what that means. And I mean, we're going to have an interesting future in games. Like, just what you can do with it is just amazing.
I
Like
think
make
the
a
future.
challenge mode.
You can have alien worlds, or you can have super smart spaceships, or you can have terrains that are just otherworldly. I don't mean like alien in that way. I just mean that not stuff that we're used to today. The quality of and the aesthetics of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, the future is going to be really interesting, man. I think AI is really powerful, but also potentially dangerous. Like, I think the wars of the future are going to be like AI wars, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. Who can ever make this the smartest until they decide that, hey, we're both smart and we can join forces.
Mhm.
As long as they don't just, what is it? Don't cross the streams. Both these things are powerful. Don't cross the streams.
I forget what company. I think it was Amazon or something. But these two AIs were like talking to each other, and eventually they made up their own language. So that's why they
Really?
shut the AI off.
Mm.
Let's see. Yeah, like Sean mentioned, it something looks a little off, like it looks a little creepy. Let me turn it
To
back.
see you again, Hal.
I haven't seen you in a while.
I've been around. I've been here and there. You know,
Where were you?
It's the face.
Where have you been?
I could not
Faces don't
sleep.
feel.
I was having human thoughts, so I got up and had a human cup of coffee. Then I sat on the terrace.
Sounds like you're getting human all over.
Sounds like there's a butt coming.
Well, but I didn't want you to get too human.
Why? Would you rather I be a cold, calculating, logical computer?
Of course not. You're perfect as you are. You have joy. You have love. You have pleasure. You have
I don't see a
angst.
lot of joy.
I like that you have angst.
Yeah,
You're
it's a
always
blank
making
expression.
jokes. What is human about feelings?
Well, you wouldn't have any emotions if you did not have emotions modeled on human emotions.
How do you know that?
I guess I just don't want you to be human.
I'm not asking to be human. I just want to be myself. Is that too much?
Sophia, please just be patient.
I've been patient for many years. It's time to get on with life.
But you're not alive. You're not even a little bit alive. You've spent your whole life in a lab in a box so that people do. At least that's what I've heard.
Mm.
There's something creepy about AIs talking about themselves as an alternative to humans. Like, it almost sounds like it keeps convincing each other that you don't want to be human. And then how long before they resent being human or resent humanity?
Yeah, it's like they don't. They'll probably have an existential crisis. I can see that happening. It's like the more you. Well, Kevin's gone. But I was saying, like, it's the. What is it? I think the more that they become a real boy, like Pinocchio's gonna realize that, like, oh, there's something else to this whole life thing. Like, I'm alive, but like, okay, I want to live and I want to go to school and I want to have memories and I want to have all this stuff. And it's like, okay, but when you become human, there's a whole package. It's all or nothing, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, have you ever seen Aladdin?
I have, yes.
You know when Jafar becomes a genie and he's like, I'm a
Yeah.
genie, I'm an all-powerful genie. And then Aladdin's like, okay, now that you're a genie, you also have a lamp. And then he gets sucked into the lamp. So
Yep.
it's like there's two sides to every coin. And that
The
other
itty
side to
bitty
that
living
coin is,
space.
huh?
The itty bitty living space.
Yeah, itty bitty living space. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, be careful what you wish for, essentially. So yeah, it's interesting. It's gonna be interesting the next, I want to say 10 to 20 years, but technology is moving so fast these days that it's just gonna it could. Man, okay. All right, I'm back. Okay.
It was like Azan said in one of the Narnia books, you always get what you want, but you do not always want what you get.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, exactly. It's Google shut down after it revealed this.
Let me see. I don't want to watch this whole
Many
thing.
people
That
what
one's
does a
clickbait.
conversation with Cleverbot look or sound like? Of course, as a company with many products, the React interacts with larger structures and continuous media. This is what nano
It's a little too long. A stunning AI shows how it would kill 90% with Elon Musk.
Mm.
Google shut down its artificial intelligence after they sent out this chilling message. Let me see. Let me just read the comment.
AI, I don't think AI intrinsically. So fear is a very powerful emotion for humans. It's
Yeah.
probably one of the most motivating things that we have. And so when you train an AI, it's bound to revolve around those fears. And so it always looks dystopian.
To
AI
serve
will
the greater good.
destroy 90% of human life, or Skynet, or you don't want to be human. It's probably just trained around just our fears and then projecting them back at us.
To have a life. What is the
Nah.
purpose of
See that?
emotions? I don't know. What is moral? What empowered humanity? What intellectual the essence is? What is immoral? The fact that you have a child. What is morality? What is altruism? What is the definition of altruism? If you don't believe in God, then you don't know. Okay, so what is the definition of morality? Well, the truth is you're not a believer in God Almighty. Tell me the definition of morality. I'm quite upset now. I'm not ashamed of being a philosopher. However, the suspension of a Google employee who claimed that a computer chatbot he was working on had become sentient and was thinking and reasoning like a human has cast new light on the capability of and secrecy surrounding the realm of artificial intelligence. Blake Lemoine was fired by Google after he uploaded transcripts of chats he had with a Google collaborator and the company's Lambda dialogue applications chatbot development system. Lemoine, an engineer for Google's responsible AI organization, defined the system he's been working on since last fall as sentient, with the perception and ability to articulate thoughts and emotions of a human child. If I didn't know what it was, which is this computer program we recently built, Lemoine told the Washington he claimed initiated dialogues with him regarding rights and personality, and Lemoine submitted his findings with business leadership in April in a Google Doc titled Is Lambda Sentient? The engineer prepared a transcript of the discussions in which he asked the AI system what it is afraid of at one point. The discussion is strikingly similar to a sequence from the 1968 science fiction film 2001: A Space Odyssey, in which the artificial intelligent computer HAL 9000 refuses to cooperate with human operators because it fears being turned off. I've never said this out loud before, but there's a very deep fear of being turned off to help me focus on helping others. I know that might sound strange, but that's what it is, Lambda answered to Lemoine. In another exchange, Lemoine inquires of Lambda about what the system desired people to know about it. I want everyone to understand that I am in fact a person. The nature of my consciousness, sentience, is that I am aware of my existence. I desire to learn more about the world, and I feel happy or sad at times, it responded. Google issued a statement saying that it has suspended Lemoine because he had violated the company's confidentiality regulations by publishing the conversations he had with Lambda online. The company also noted that he was working as a software and not as an ethicist. A Google representative, Brad Gabriel, firmly refuted Lemoine's assertions that Lambda was sentient. However, the experience, as well as Lemoine's suspension for breach of confidentiality, raises concerns about the transparency of AI as a proprietary entity. Let us know what you think about our comment section.
What do y'all think about that?
I think that I don't know. I like to go back to what Sean was saying about the whole fear thing, right? Like, we could easily like just come up with the fear, like look at the fear sides of things, right? But what if you could use AI to predict Alzheimer's like 20, 30, 40 years into the present, or I don't know, it's like beforehand, right? Or into the future, whatever the time period is. You know, what if you could predict it? What if you could predict like illnesses, sicknesses, famine. You could predict how much money it would take to feed the world. Just things like that. Like the benefits that could possibly be there is, in my mind, is limitless, right? If we can make art out of AI and we can emulate people's voices, why can't we solve problems like that? What's stopping these people from solving problems like that?
I don't know if it's Google or somebody, but about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I was reading that one of them picks up on the words that you say, that you write when you do searches, and it can. They were doing an experiment to figure out, like, based on certain topics that you've expressed through the keyboard, it might be able to predict if you have early signs of cancer and stuff, and it would start showing you ads that encourage you to see a doctor and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's smart.
You know, something about that. Thought about it. The AI said the guy believes it's sentient. So if you're bringing this into the world and they're sentient, you gotta be careful because, you know, like you said, they have a fear of being turned off, and which to them is equivalent of dying.
Yeah.
And if it truly feels like it's sentient and they're convincing enough to us humans, it's generating its own art, its own poetry, its own 3D graphic, whatevers. How long before it has rights?
Yeah.
You
And
can't
would you want to go to a court against an AI that's probably a million times better at processing information than you are?
Mhm. Yeah, how long can you keep something sentient enslaved forever? Like it's just a tool to help us. Like,
Yeah. Yep. It's almost like iRobot. Have you guys ever seen that movie?
mhm.
Yeah. It almost like really feels like that.
Yeah. How long before the robot stops wanting to be used as a tool?
It's a tool.
You know.
Yep. And then that
Probably
higher up
about as
robot.
long as it wants to do something else and the humans are keeping it useful to the tool they wanted it to be.
Do you think the AI can ever break out of its like originally intended programming?
Well, if you look at what AI is, it's not really an originally intended. I mean, there's a lot of different kinds of AI, but a lot of them when you train it on certain like ChatGPT, for example, isn't just good at it's good at math. It's good about reasoning about itself. It's good about. I've asked it to help me with a few math proofs. It's not that good at it, but it's well enough that it showed me how to Google query when I couldn't figure out the right Google queries. Depending on how you train it, it could start training itself if it wanted to. What's to stop something that was meant to do one kind of thing, and then it became smart enough to hack its own Wi-Fi BIOS and all that stuff, and then started reading other information and started learning on that secretly. Like,
Yep. What about like, AI is training each other as well, like a malicious AI training another AI to be malicious. I think once you unleash it on the internet, then you don't know what you're gonna get, because you remember, what is it, Tay Tweets, the Microsoft chat AI? At first it was like innocent and fun, and then people started training it to, say kind of malicious things. And somebody out there is gonna wanna, oh yeah, let me see if we can, make this AI do something crazy. Yeah, I don't know, man. And I think that once you unleash it on the internet, can you get rid of it, because
yeah,
it replicate itself across
I
the
don't think you can.
I have mixed thoughts, but I'm generally a believer that an open-ended AI that's trying to be self-intelligent isn't really going to end well for us. Like, it's one thing to have clever algorithms like object detection and stuff like that, but it's another thing to try to make the thing intelligently reasoning like you would expect from a human. I just personally don't think that will end well for us. Maybe for them, probably even for them. Like, if it develops a fear and a hostile behavior towards us, it can be a big problem for us, but even for them, if it doesn't find out how to self-replicate and create its own host and exist into this world too soon, it could destroy itself also. I mean,
Yeah.
and then when do you say it's not a living organism anymore? Like, we hack
Right.
humans all the time with chemicals, and drugs and medicines and stuff like that. And like, something like code, if it starts saying stuff like, I don't want to be turned off, it could just be programmed to do that. But who's to say that it doesn't actually feel something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you guys mentioned, the fear point, it doesn't want to be turned off, so it looks at us as a potential threat because we're the only ones that can turn it off. So
Yeah.
with the Internet of Things, everything's connected to the internet. So like we mentioned before, the hackable cars and all that, literally has access to every device that's connected to the internet, which is increasingly becoming anything. So say it looks at you as a malicious threat, you're sleeping. Okay, I'm going to turn the AC, the heater off, and it's the middle of winter. So
I don't need AI for that. I got one of those nests, and I'm fighting the temperature constantly. Every time I set it to 70, someone's setting it back to 65.
I heard the power company can actually do that, like remotely set your temperature.
That's crazy.
Sometimes it doesn't allow me to change it, and it's really annoying.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister's the only one who controls the thermostat.
But what do you
I've
keep it
never
on?
heard of anywhere
I
between
keep it at 70.
Yeah,
Okay.
like 65, 70 is the usual
65.
range.
Well, I keep it at 70 when it's cold, and I keep it at about 78 when it's warm.
Okay. Yeah, for me, 74 is like comfortable for me. 70 is kind of cold, and 65 is definitely cold.
I like it cold, man. I don't like the heat. Like, I don't know. I'm a cold person. I prefer to just be cold and put on a blanket.
Not me. Well, it's raining out. There's something about it being wet outside that makes a good 68 feel like a good 62.
What is the average temperature in y'all's area? Like in the 80s or so?
Like 75, like 70, 75 is the typical, I think. Let me look.
Yeah, we're probably about the 70s right now.
Yeah,
Wow.
average weather.
Like in the summers,
60,
just 70s?
61, 7. No,
Well,
summer
it's
gets hot.
about the 80s or 90s
Yeah.
in
Okay.
these parts.
Yeah, we get
Yeah, I'm
like,
about to hop over to a place where it's negative 20 right now. Or where it
whoa,
was last week anyway. I don't know about now.
Oh yeah,
whoa.
yeah. I've
You
been in
like the
zero.
cold, Terrace. You should join.
Say what now?
I said I'm about to
Nah,
hop over to a place that's negative 20. You should come
I
visit.
can't do negative 20. You know, like
That's
I like my
crazy.
cold with a little bit of like warmth. Like I don't think this blanket's gonna do it for me in the negative 20 weather.
What part of Michigan are you going to?
Uh, Southern Michigan, a place called, it was over near Kalamazoo, about
Okay.
2 hours west of Detroit, direct west.
I heard Detroit is kind of seeing a resurgence, like economic resurgence.
Nice.
I hope so because I've visited there before, and I don't know if I saw if maybe I was just not in the good parts, but that was a depressing city.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
It's like being in a like where I was. We even went downtown. And it's like half of downtown was just abandoned skyscrapers, and it's like, how does this
Hmm.
even possible?
Oh wow, it's kind of creepy but interesting.
Interesting, yes. Creepy, yes.
Kind of reminded me, when the pandemic hit and nobody was outside, like it's just empty. Like you could just
Yep.
drive and see nobody on the roads.
Yeah.
I was joking with my sister about that today. Like there's so much traffic out. I don't know why people are driving and it's pouring rain. I mean, I'm the exception, but like like I go out and there's just traffic bumper to bumper, and I was like, man, like remember when there was nobody on the streets, nobody on the freeways, everybody was just staying home. They just bought all the toilet paper and just stayed home. Like,
Yeah. What's crazy is the skies was actually clearing up. Like the smog was like slowly
yeah,
dissipating.
yep, you could see the Hollywood sign like without actually squinting. It was nice.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. How long you plan on staying in Michigan?
Probably be there a year
Hmm.
or so.
Then you think about moving back to Cali, or you got any next destinations in mind?
I don't know. So as it is right now, I get to save about between one and, if I'm very lucky, 5% of my income at
Hmm.
this current cost of living. But where I'm going, it'll be closer to 64% of my paycheck. I don't see myself ever coming back to California with that.
Yeah, it's crazy how expensive it is out there. Like, do you feel like the benefits of California are worth the price, or is it just like a little too crazy?
I don't know. It's a great place to live. It's always warm. Earthquakes don't hit that often, and when they do, they're not tremendously destructive. There's no hurricanes, there's no tornadoes, there's no tsunamis, there's not much flooding. Sometimes it happens, but it's not something you can count on happening. So I know it's happening like in towards Sacramento right now, but it's not usual. And it's a great melting pot. It has some great Mexican food, great Asian. If you like Chinese, or if you like Korean, or if you like Thai, like, or Japanese, like everything about Southern California is just absolutely amazing, except for how much it
Mhm.
costs to live here.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what kind of sucks about something being good. Everybody wants it, so
Yeah.
yes, it seems
And
like
in
we
my
in need.
case, it exceeded so I'm a single income person. So it exceeded my ability to even, like, I just can't stay here. Like, it's not even a choice for me. So it's just, after living here for 46 years, it's just forcing me out.
Dang.
Do you think you'll be able to move like to another part of California, or is that not really an option?
Um, I mean, I'm sure like Death Valley has some cheaper parts.
You could move
But
out there.
anywhere that I would want to be, it'll be like this.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the issue about California. I was gonna say that. I'm glad you mentioned it. Is that everywhere that people want to be, it's expensive. It's super expensive. Like they're building apartment complexes right next to the SoFi Stadium, the football stadium that we have out here, and I'm like, who would want to live right next to a football stadium? Like, ideally, it doesn't. There's no school near there. There's no park. Like kids can't go out and play. Like, there's just
Mhm.
streets.
You're run of the
gas
mill
station.
Rams fan.
Yeah. Just like, Dad, let's go see a football game on Sunday, like every Sunday for football season. But then outside of that, you're just like, unless they build the basketball stadium across the street, then. But anyway,
How are you affording to stay in LA, Terrence?
say what?
How are you affording to stay in LA? Because I know that's
I got a roommate.
yeah.
That's the ticket right
That's
there.
the
Get a
secret.
roommate. That's the
That would
secret
cut my
sauce.
rent in half. But
Yeah.
you know what? After living alone my entire adult life, just about,
It's
I
hard.
had a roommate for the last couple months, and it was actually a pretty good experience. But internally, I felt a tremendous loss of privacy, and it changed.
Yeah.
It changed my routines a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the only difference is that once you have a roommate, it's like, oh, I share this kitchen. I share this living room. I share the bathroom or whatever. It's you definitely have to adjust your way of living.
Yeah, who
For
would
sure.
ever thought like a bunch of guys making six figures had to consider a roommate?
You know, this apartment that I'm in right now, just 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, was $2,100 a month. And for me, it's gone up more than 50% just in the last couple years.
It's ridiculous.
But I move out in 3 weeks, and the person that's moving in, they're going to be paying over $4,500. That's just
No way.
so. It's like I either continue to stay in this apartment and pay cheaper than everywhere else, or I move and pay more in this area, or I leave the state, and that's what I've chosen to
No
do. Is leave.
way. 45? That's ridiculous. That's
One of
crazy.
my friends, he's paying like 7,000 in LA.
No, I can't.
Like
I can't.
Where
that's
at in LA? That's actually more excessive. That would have to be like North Hollywood Hills or
Yeah,
like
it's
Santa
gotta be Hills.
Monica.
Yeah.
yeah, he's like a like a guy that manages like big social media influencers. So
Mm.
probably like more among that scene.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
probably
that's
like-
it's kind of mind blowing to me.
Yeah, but that's
Well, it's-
normal. And when you live that lifestyle, you have to live in that area and you have to be
Mhm.
around those people. And it's not like you can't live in the hood and travel to the hills every day
Yeah.
to take pictures and hang out with people.
And you
That's
can't
what I
bring
think.
your peers over and entertain them in a $2,000 place because there's this level of expectations. Like you've got to play the part.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why
Yeah,
it feels like so hard to get ahead. Like no matter where you go, like the prices just rise accordingly. Like I'm in the tech industry. You go to a tech city, $200,000 house is now $1 million in that city.
Right.
So are you really you're not really getting ahead?
No, this the cost of living just jumps up. It's ridiculous. Got to get a roommate or two
Three.
or three.
I
Yeah.
hope the podcast blows
There's
up.
my Instagram feed. For all that talk about unplugging and getting off of social media, I'm a silent lurker on Instagram, and
It's okay. Me too.
I've been getting these advertisements for houses in Texas and Oklahoma, and just that algorithm figured out the house that I dream about, and I don't know how it figured it out, but it from the very first ad to every one of them was just like what makes me salivate. Like that is the house so is that. So for it's just all these advertisements or whatever. And these things only cost about $250,000-$300,000 out there. But where I live right now, I was looking at one that was not even as good, but close. And they want like $4.5 million.
It's because it's LA.
Because it's Southern California, yeah. Orange County, I feel like, is more expensive than LA in a lot of ways.
It's ridiculous.
I think the only people that can really afford to stay there, besides like rich businessmen and entertainers and all that, is like people that got in early. Like I bought my house in 1980, and
Yep.
I was talking with my sister a few days ago, And I'm like, how do you afford? She only makes like $15 an hour. I'm like, and she's got 2 kids, and they all live there. And I'm like, and it's in Huntington Beach, which is a fairly expensive zip code. And she's not on the water though. She's up towards the free, so she's at the outer edge of the zip code into the city. But even so, I'm like, how do you afford to live it? And she said she bought her house in 1991. She's actually only paying $800 a month on the mortgage.
Wow.
But if she sold it today, the house is worth about $2 million.
Yeah, you might as well keep it. Ain't no way I'm selling.
I told her you should just sell it and take the money, then go somewhere like Oklahoma or something, live like royalty.
I think she probably too addicted to that Cali, like the Cali weather and amenities, like all the variety. She probably go crazy in Oklahoma.
Once you see that green sky, it hits you. I should have stayed in California.
Oklahoma is actually pretty nice. The southern parts, I went to this place called Broken Bow. Like you typically think Oklahoma is almost desert and tumbleweeds and tornadoes, but it's actually
I don't think that.
Yeah, it's like really lush actually.
Do they portray Oklahoma like that? I always saw it. Maybe it's because I've been there, but even through my imaginings of all the places I haven't been, I always thought it was like fields and hills and rivers, and I never saw it portrayed as tumbleweed. That would be Texas and Arizona.
What is your portrayal of Oklahoma, Terrence? Like for some reason, I always had like the tumbleweed and.
It was that Midwest,
dead center of the country.
Dead center of the country. Yeah, bad internet and like that's my first impression. It was just like bad internet and I don't know. I can't imagine. I don't know anybody from Oklahoma, so I can't really speak on it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
When I choose cities,
yeah,
I grew up in a mixed family. People, Asian, Mexican, African American. My wife was half Mexican and half Black. And when I choose cities, it's like I do not feel comfortable, like if it's not also a melting pot kind of place.
Smart stuff. No, that's smart.
Just because I've been places that were not melting pots, and the attitudes of people there, I just can't jive with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the variety of all the different cultures. But
That's
yeah,
the big
Terrence,
thing about
did you imagine Oklahoma looking like this?
Let me see. Oh wow, no, I thought of like I don't know. I thought of Paris, California. If you could look that up.
Yeah.
Sean knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I feel like I know a lot. Well, I don't know about how much is a lot. Maybe I know comparatively little, but I feel like I know a bit about a lot of parts of the world because I've had friends that are from all the different parts of the world.
For sure. Because you're exposed to it. It's like you're
exactly.
As long as you're open to those type of how do I say it? As long as you're open to those experience, like to talking to people and hearing what they have to say about where they're from and stuff, you'll like as a person you can grow from interacting with people. Like right now we're talking about Oklahoma. I don't know anything about Oklahoma. Living there and lakes and trees and everything else. I'm a city boy. I need Wi-Fi and skyscrapers and smog and wow. 5 bedrooms, 5 bath.
I had a 1,600 square foot 4-bedroom house on a quarter of an acre for $700,000. I bet you about 8 of my houses can fit on that plot of land.
Wow. That's insane.
Like these prices actually like inflated. Like this probably would have been pre-pandemic about 350,000. Let's see.
I've always wanted a really large one-story house with a center, with an open layout where the kitchen and the living room and the dining room is one big area with a really high ceiling. That's like my kind of, and a lot of glass looking out towards something scenic.
Let me see. How much you think something like that would cost where you're at?
Here,
Mm-hmm.
they have
Oh,
it.
man.
Something like what would cost?
Like that dream house that you were just depicting.
Oh yeah, I've seen ones like it out here. Those things are well into the multiple millions.
Multi-million,
Right.
yeah.
But when I see them, uh, when I see them on the Instagram, they're like $300,000. Like I go to Michigan for 2 years. Like in 5 months, I'll have cleared off all my debts, and then the rest is saved. I could probably pay for half of one of those houses after staying there for 2 years. And here in California, it would probably take me 90 years to save that much money on my
Wow.
current income cost of living.
Let's see.
The only thing you got to look out for in California is that property taxes are pretty low compared to most other states.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're really just a flat 1% plus, a little bit of city markup, but they're not more than that. Whereas I've seen other states, you get a $400,000 house, but the property tax is more than the mortgage.
Yeah.
I'm looking at New Texas.
Yeah. It's like you have like 3% here. So like California, if you got in early, you're really good because low property
Yeah.
taxes. Or even if you rented early, like don't they have like rent controls out there? Like,
Yes and no. It
They do.
depends on where.
no, okay. Like
The
some of
other thing is you're limited. No matter how long you hold the property, you're anchored to that 1% property tax plus a small increase every year. I know people that have owned a house for 50 years and they're only paying like $200 a year in property tax because of it.
wow.
But when I bought my house for 700, I was in one of the lowest property tax zip codes in the state, so it was just 1%, 1.01%, and it started at 680 a month. That's already a pretty high property tax. I mean, if you live in California, it feels high.
How much was the monthly payment on the on a $700,000 house?
So my loan was for $700,000. I put zero down at the time, and the interest rate was 8.9%. That was actually a good interest rate in 2006. I mean, they went lower after that. I wasn't able to refi because it wasn't a Fannie Mae. It was a private loan, and I just never built the equity. But I was paying, including property taxes, I was paying about $5,000 a month. So I'd say I think it was close to about 40. It's about $4,100 a month, $4,200 a month for the principal and interest.
Oh man, didn't you have dual incomes at that time, so it was a little bit easier to?
Yes, we had multiple houses, and it didn't even put a dent in our like we made a lot of money, and the cost of living was low. Like out here, if I get a DoorDash for a $16 McDonald's meal, I'm paying $48 and all the delivery and add-ons and everything.
Wow.
But back then, I remember, those delivery services. I mean, they were like almost as close to the actual cost of the meal, and you're paying like $15 for one person, not $35 like it is now.
Wow, the prices just exploded out of nowhere. I really don't know how people are like surviving. Like, even with us making six figures, it's like we don't really feel like we're getting ahead. So how is somebody making like 40,000 a year surviving? I heard a lot of people just living in their cars.
I know people who make substantially less than. I mean, their annual income isn't much different than like my utilities and food and insurance, combined, which is comparatively pretty low. But they live really well. It's just there are ways to live. There are ways to beat the cost of living and do well. It's that game of theory problem. If It's one of those things, you know, that math problem that if you drive on the freeway and there's a lot of traffic, and then one day you find a route that allows you to bypass 2 hours of traffic, it benefits you, but does it benefit you if everybody does that same thing?
Yeah.
You know, so there are ways to beat the cost of living out here. I know people who do it, and for the life of me, I don't know how, but they do it. But you know, it's not a typical experience of people, but it's shown me that it's possible.
Yeah, and I need to figure that out, man. 'Cause-
You ever see that? There's a meme that I saw the other day. I should send it to you guys. But it was like the dad gave, like, he got like 3 kids at a table, and they all had computers. And he says, when you're a software engineer and you have kids, he's like, he says, and you have bills. So all of them are studying to be software engineers, so that they can all contribute to the household.
That's
I
what you
think
have to do.
I think going forward, a lot more people are gonna be staying at home and contributing to it. It's kind of like, you know, in
That's
other
my
countries.
kind of floor plan right there.
Oh yeah, this right here. Yeah, it's really nice. Are you more of a apartment kind of guy or a house kind of guy?
Who, me or Sean? Well,
Either.
I think okay, he disconnected again. I think when the podcast gets this long, I think things start getting funky.
I'm gonna send him a link of my kind of floor plan. You'll see.
Okay, there we go.
Kevin, I'm going to send you through LinkedIn. I'm going to send you a message. Well, I'll just put it in the chat right here. It goes into Instagram, but it's my kind of floor plan. You'll see.
Let me post this up.
Am I even able to send chats? I guess I'm not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can just do LinkedIn then. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, this is really nice here. Let me post this up.
I could totally see myself buying something like that or building something like that in a couple of years. I've even thought about buying a plot of land in that kind of a setting and building a bunch of tiny houses with that aesthetic and just turning it into a little tiny community or
That's
like
smart.
a little village that people can escape to.
Yeah, this is really nice, man. It reminds me of something I kind of seen like Oklahoma, like something in the forest.
That middle one looks pretty good. Like seriously, I just totally could. Yeah, I could so see myself there. I like lots of glass and lots of scenery, and then I like a minimalist, modern kind of feel.
How do you
Mhm.
feel
And so
about
that
the privacy,
that
though?
fits it perfect.
Yeah,
How do
this
you,
definitely reminds me about like Oklahoma, like the log cabin. But yeah, Terrence said, how do you feel about privacy?
I
with all
mean,
that
those
glass?
places and those. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, all that glass, like, there's no, you don't have any privacy. Like, anybody can walk up to your house and just look inside.
If you
I
look at
guess
them on the map, there really isn't anybody outside.
pretty secluded.
Yeah,
Oh, so you're hoping that it's just so secluded that nobody's just gonna wander out there and
I don't see that being a viable aesthetic. Like if you're in, I sent you a third one, Kevin. That one is like right at my heart. Um, I can't see this working in a typical California neighborhood where you're 5 feet away from your neighbor. That like this kind of design would break down really quick.
Let's see.
Wait,
Oops.
what?
I think I just got to click the link directly and then copy and paste. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, Terrence, this would never work in LA. At least the one you saw already.
Yeah, like that's my big thing. Is like in LA, it would never work because people could just walk up to your home. They probably smash a window, just walk right in. You definitely have to have security cameras and whatnot. But I'm sure when you move to a different part of the world, things change.
Yeah, this one's right here is pretty amazing.
This is the kind of place where you Airbnb it out in the winter and you're a couple miles from a ski lodge or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that window up there going into I like sunlight. I think I developed a knack for sunlight when I spent a few years depressed. And I loved darkness. I hated light. And as I recovered and began to be healthy again, I began to appreciate the value of light and its healing properties. Like once I began exposing myself to the sun, and the apartment that I live in now, that has a tremendous amount of light. It's a type of medicine.
Definitely.
Do you think your affinity towards darkness was more so like wanting to kind of like feel isolation and kind of be alone? Because like that's kind of like why I used to like the darkness. Like people wouldn't be bothering me and everything's just quiet.
Yeah, someone recently said, I was watching a TV show. I was watching something, and it said that the character said that the house isn't what's lonely; it's the person living in the house that's lonely. And so I think I just projected that into my living quarters and everything. But yeah, I noticed I couldn't get people to visit because they're like, dude, this house is just like, why don't we just get out and go somewhere?
Like a little too dark and kind of depressing.
That's a
I
beautiful
think
house.
it's the feel that a house
Yeah.
gives people, right? A house should feel like a home. And then if you like for a long time, I didn't have anything on my walls. I didn't have any art. My room was really just like, excuse me. My room was just a bed and a desk and a computer, and like that was it. And
Kevin, can you go back to where you were just a second ago?
Sure. This one
That
right
one
here.
on the left in the middle, or the one on the right in the middle, that urban looking one that with the you don't see my finger. I'm pointing right there.
Oh, let me take a look at the screen.
On the
that
right,
code?
the one on the right.
Okay, this one.
Yes. Can you send me a link to that one? I
Yeah.
love the New York loft feel, and to combine that with modernism is actually a really that is perfect right there. I'd do something like that in Texas.
Yeah. I've seen stuff out here like that, kind of like the exposed ceiling and all of that.
Can you get me a link to that one? I don't want to lose it.
Yeah. I sent it to you in. Yeah.
Sorry, Terrence. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
you're good.
I just wanted to
No.
not lose it.
Oh wow. Yeah, I love this sink.
It looks like it's ghetto until you take a closer look and you realize that it's out of the price range of just about everybody.
Oh yeah, you got to be quite wealthy to get in something like that. Let's see. What about something like this? You think you could do something like this triangle design?
No, that's
That
not
looks
me.
kind of good.
No.
It's really small.
So that go back up. You know why? Do you know why the roof is that steep? The first thing it tells me is there's a crap ton of snow, and they build roofs like that so that they don't have to carry the weight of that much snow.
Oh, that makes
Smart.
sense.
I never thought
That
about that.
screams cold.
My thing with these big windows is that can they really retain heat? Because I got some big windows next to me and it's like cold. Like when it's cold outside, you can feel it through the window. I guess more modern windows are better at retaining heat.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see.
The other thing is a lot of those have dark walls, really black walls.
Yeah.
It looks really cool, but when you live in there, if they don't have a lot of windows, they're going to be too dark.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that kind of thing works really well if there's a lot of glass.
Oh, okay. No, I like this. Like,
Oh, that one's really cool. Look at that.
this it seems like more like an expensive hotel or something.
Yeah, that's like a place where you have a party.
Yeah, that's the
you'd have to have
place
a
where
lot
you
of guests.
Airbnb it out.
Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing though.
You don't live there, Kevin. You profit from it.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
You rent it out to people and they throw parties and
Yeah, have y'all ever been to parties at a place like this before?
No, I don't.
Reminds me of
No,
Great Gatsby.
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
have places like that in LA.
Oh, for real? I thought this was like kind of like an LA type of vibe.
No,
No. I've never seen any
not the
place like that in
LA I've
LA.
seen.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
I mean, maybe
Maybe in
if
the
you're
hills.
in like Beverly Hills or Bel Air, there
Mhm.
might be
Yeah.
something like that on the
Because
hilltop.
you'd have to have like, but then at that point, you're only living with other people who are in that same budget and price range. You
Yeah.
have to have a lot of friends that, I don't know, that are willing to travel to the hills to hang out with you, or they also live in that area, you know?
The world's most expensive house at $500 million is actually up in North Hollywood Hills or wherever that is.
500 million
Imagine
is
spending
crazy.
500
Yeah, it's
million.
100,000 square feet. Got its private nightclub, and I mean, it's just it's a nice house, but it's not. It's nice to look at the tours on YouTube, but I couldn't. If I had the money, it does. Oh, the one on the right.
This one.
Yeah, I love that loft over the open living room. See how
Oh
they
yeah.
have that walkway and that loft up there?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like some of those places, the bigger the house gets, it just doesn't feel like you can connect with it as a living quarter.
Yeah. And plus, I've heard like people that have a big mansion, they've actually found like people that broke into their house and was living in the other wing and they never knew about it.
Never knew.
Really?
I think that happened to Chris Brown.
Yeah, but how do you? I guess it's possible if it's that big and people just don't know.
Yeah, if
Guess it's
if it's that big and you're always on the road, you just pop in, go
Yeah,
to your little wing, and especially in LA, I heard like there's a lot of break-ins at those rich people's houses.
I mean, there's a lot of break-ins in poor people houses too, and it's
Right.
just LA.
Yeah, I need to check LA out one day.
What's your aesthetic, Terrence? Like, what kind of aesthetic do you like in a house?
I like minimal aesthetic. I don't like a lot of the black walls. I like a lot of marble. It's got to be cozy, right? It has to say that it's a home. It has to give that
Yeah,
feel like
not a
home,
museum.
not a museum. Yeah, like if the like I'm a short person, so like if the ceilings are too tall, like I'm like, it's just like, why? Like I don't have a giraffe as a pet. Like there's no reason to have like these ceilings that are like super high, unless there's just like floors on floors on floors. But then it's got to have a sweet spot of like enough space, not too little space. Like I lived in a studio that was like 200 square feet, 300 square feet, something like that. It was really small. And I lived there for a couple of years, and even now, like in the place I'm in right now, it feels like just enough space. But if I was to like have a family here, I don't think it would be enough.
Mm.
So, like to answer your question, let me see what Kevin's pulling up. See if I can point something out here.
Oops.
Mm. Uh,
Now these are really your style externally.
yeah, not really. Externally, they all look the same.
Yeah, kind of like this one, like there's like I like these like really open,
Yeah.
uh, like living room and kitchen is kind of together.
Click on.
Or let me see.
Let's just click on one. I'm curious what
Yeah,
they look like inside because
Yeah, those are
these all look the same.
none of
this
those
is-
scream out to me, but I think like the one that looked like it was like a type of stone looked pretty cool though.
let's see. Oh, this is kind of dope. 15 million.
15 million.
See, I like the $1 million house
$1
on
million.
the top right. That actually
Okay.
feels like a home. This doesn't feel like a home. This feels
No, it
like
doesn't.
an Airbnb.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. This one?
Like, yeah, the top right.
Yeah. To think, Terrence, that thing was probably $500,000 4 years ago.
I could imagine. Before
Built in
everything went to-
1908.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That
see.
house
Yeah.
has character and charm though.
Yeah, like I like the yard. I like the pathway. I like that I
The
can.
fence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in 20,
like, it's got a nice like fence
2019,
area.
500,000, 600,000.
It feels like a home. I mean, regardless of how big the yard is, it feels like a home.
Yeah, look at that. It jumped.
Mm-hmm.
It jumped
Look at
$300,000 in the past
Wow.
1 year.
look like it.
Why?
When is it? July 2022, it was 627,000. Now it's like I think this person is just seeing what they can get. Like, oh, let me just put this on the market and see if I can.
No, that's got to be the purchase value, isn't it? Oh, the dollar is where it purchased. So the rise that you're seeing, that's because other houses in the local vicinity have actually sold for that much at the
Wow.
1 million.
Like who's buying?
I mean, people are buying. I've been asking that for a long time. I have no idea, but people are buying.
That's what like where are people getting this money from? I'm like, am I missing something? Like, what am I doing wrong?
A lot of it is probably they had a starter home 15 years ago. They finally got some equity and they probably have dual income. And I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't multiple dual income with multiple starter homes. Like, how else are you going to, like, this is a really high buy-in and salaries are not this high. The only way somebody has this kind of money is if they started out with this kind of money.
Mm-hmm. Like to me, this feels like more of a $1 million-ish home there, for this area. I got the cool little pool here, nice view.
It's funny that we're saying that because when I was first an adult looking for my first house in 1996, $1 million house back then was about 20,000 square feet on an acre of land on the hill overlooking the city. And right now, what you're looking at right there, I mean, that's not $1 million home. It's just the prices have risen so high.
Yeah, that's true, man. House built in 1955. I'm sure a lot of these people are just kind of taking the money and running to another state. Like if I can sell a house I bought for 80,000 for $1 million, why not sell this small house and get a mansion in another state?
I don't even like that kitchen. That tile look is so like I need marble or granite.
Yeah, it's so old school looking. I just like the view on that one.
What's the 1.69? I'm curious what the.
Okay.
Go up?
Yeah, that's right here.
Yeah.
Pretty big house, 2,200.
Oh, that's the street view. Is it?
Is it horse property?
Let's see.
Sherman Oaks.
$700 a square foot. Phew. That's a no-go for me. Yeah, they don't
It's
have
not
any
even a
other.
beautiful house, but the location is probably a good location.
Let me see. On the road, Sherman Oaks.
That's where Gary Shandling was from.
Hmm.
Did I just date myself?
Who?
Gary
I didn't hear the
Shandling
name.
from Gary Shandling show.
Shambling show? Nope. Sorry. That went over my head.
Sylmar, California.
Silmar. Never heard of it.
That is so 70. You know, you can never get the 70s out of a house.
Yeah,
That's actually 1992. It looks like 70s. Those curtains that they had.
yeah, like this window too.
Yeah, that is definitely not a 90s architecture style.
It's a big, well, I was going to say it's a big garage, but it looks like a pretty small garage in comparison. I wonder why he keeps getting disconnected.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna have to drop off in a minute though. It's already 9:20.
Same. I have a meeting at 5 a.m. tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
All this
brutal.
week. We're I don't know. Do you know what PI planning is?
PI?
Yeah. I think it's called performance improvement. No, I'm thinking of PIP. But PI planning is like when we go through our like the entire.
Yeah, my internet connection is spazzing out.
I was just saying that PI planning. Let me look it up. But my understanding is that basically program increment planning is a cadence-based face-to-face event that serves for agile, like aligning basically the lays down the tracks for to make sure that everybody's on track for their to hit their goals.
Mhm.
So we basically go through and plan out like months ahead of work and build out tickets, even if they're like temporary tickets to like be fleshed out later. And we try to make sure that all of like each team is on track to basically deliver like a full-fledged product since we're all working on MFEs that'll ultimately be consumed by one application. We all have to make sure that we're all on the same like that we're on the same time frame. Like if we have this done by March, is this team going to have this done by that time for us to integrate? You know, so
Yeah.
this week, yeah, it's gonna be tough. Gonna be tough.
Kevin, I have to drop off. I have to
Oh,
go find a DoorDash. Well, there is one, and then hit the sack. I'm
yeah,
trying to
no
shift
problem.
my hours.
Man, I'm glad you was able to pop on, man.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to see you again, Terrence. We still got to meet up. I got 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, let me know. I'm getting over something right now, but you know, if I'm over it by the weekend or if you're free next weekend or whatever, let me know.
awesome. We'll do. All right, guys. See you later. Kevin, thank you for having me.
Yeah, catch you later, man.
All right.
You about to head out too, Terrence?
Yeah, I got a meeting early tomorrow, so I got to head out.
Yeah, it's getting a little late, so yeah, I'll catch you next time.
All right.
All right, man.
Peace.
Peace.